council members, please come into the well and have your seat so that we can get the meeting started. All council members, if you could come into the well and take your seat. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Griffin.
Here.
Bishop. Conwell. Gray. Hairston. Harsh. House Jones. Jones. Casey. Kelly. Moorer. McCormack. Polensik. Santana. Slife. Spencer. Starr. You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. Will everybody please rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll make the following statement. The meeting of Cleveland City Council is a lawful meeting. Under Section 605.04 of the Codified Ordinances, no person with purpose to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting shall do any act which obstructs or interferes with the due conduct of such meeting. Members of the public are invited to speak only under the rules set by this council. Disruptions, including but not limited to speaking out of turn and making loud noises and loud utterances, are in violation of the rules and interfere with the due conduct of this lawful meeting. Such disruptions may constitute a misdemeanor and a violation of Section 605.04. Anyone who disrupts this lawful meeting in violation of the codified ordinances commits misdemeanors and is subject to prosecution. The following is the first and only warning. If this meeting is disrupted, I will gavel a halt to the proceedings and direct the assembled officers to escort any person participating in this disruption out of the chamber. Once persons participating in this disruption are outside of the chambers, the officers will close the doors and the disruptors will be handled as directed by the Director of Public Safety. The council proceedings will not begin again until those that participated in the disruption have left the chamber and the chamber doors are closed. Disruptors will not be allowed back in the chamber after the meeting resumes. Again, this is the first and only warning. Madam Clerk, please dispense with the journal.
By Councilmember Kelly, that the reading of the minutes of the last meeting be dispensed with the journal approved. Seconded by Councilmember Bishop.
Thank you. We'll move to public comment. I would ask all the council members to acknowledge the speakers, and I would ask the speakers to acknowledge your time. When you see the yellow, that means to wrap it up. When you see the red, that means that it is time to abruptly stop. We will go in order of the people that have signed up. First, we have Apostolate Pamela Pinckney, and Apostolate Pamela Pinckney is from Cleveland. They're here to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and family and police with health and human services waiting process. She's with the People's New Party, and she is being paid, yes, by the community and the church. Apostolate Pinckney.
Good evening, everyone, and I have something here for all the council members as well as the mayor as to what I'm about to say to you. So would someone please pass those around to each one of your council members? Would you take one, please, and pass it around to your council?
If you could give it, when you give it to the clerk, we'll make sure that we give it. So we'll just put it to the clerk.
Okay, make sure the mayor receives it also, and don't take away from my time because of that disruption.
Please move forward.
Greetings. I'm going to read to you this evening. As I come before you today, as a ninth cousin removed to General George Washington, the first inaugurated president of the United States of America, who was first to free the slaves in 1799 before the Emancipation Proclamation was in place. I am here today to follow up and follow through with that same process. It is true that there is no legislation in place in this body or executive order or even any part of the legal system for reparation for Black, brown, and multiracial people. This leadership must put in place laws that do not allow qualified immunity for law enforcement officers. Neither are judges to be permitted to hide behind the judiciary as racist, sexist agendas are in place in this country. There is not an excuse for our being gunned down, robbed, raped, and denied equal opportunities in the name of the law and religion. Neither are judges to hide behind their permission for judiciary for us to be murdered, massively incarcerated, delayed, denied, displaced daily due to these racist, sexist agendas. I disagree with the idea of no police protection in our school system. The schools are under state control. It is a predominantly black, brown, and multiracial city with a black mayor. There is no accountability for the rainy day funds or finances in the city for black, brown, and multiracial people through the white system. You may contact me at area code 216-548-0820 to begin to put these laws into effect and in writing. You are the root of the law. Every tree that bears no fruit is cut down and considered accursed. We are established to be a blessed and to be blessed people. This is not an option. This is an obligation you have to those of us who have hired and elected you for the care and preservation of our communities. It is never right or civil to murder us in the name of the law and or religion.
Thank you. Next, we have Darrell Houston. Darrell Houston is from Bedford Heights to talk about city issues. He is not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone. Mr. Houston.
Well, good evening, everyone. I just want to talk about Black history for a moment. I want to mention Ward 7, and I want to mention Ward 5 about Black history. I'll start with Ward 7 with Fannie Lewis Ward. If it wasn't for Fannie Lewis over in Ward 7, a lot of the development would not be there for people that look like us. Okay, Fannie Lewis did a great job. When Alliance and Bryant bought the property where Seymour's was, Fannie Lewis fought to get us another grocery store, which sat directly across the street from her house. And I would be, she probably would hurt me right now if I didn't speak on her behalf on Black history of all the accomplishments that she accomplished in Ward 7. Secondly, I'm 56 years old. There's always, Ward 5, there's always been a grocery store in that plaza right there. There always was a food pantry on 71st in Kinsman. These things was pillars to the community and still are to this day, but they no longer exist. So this is my Black history to bring this to these different wards, bring the attention that's needed before we lose the face that belongs there, which is a Black face. Thank you, and have a blessed day.
Thank you. Next, we have Stephen Lutz from Ward 9, talk about programming budget for City Rec Centers, After School All-Stars Cleveland. He's not being paid by anyone. Stephen Lutz. Only one person is allowed to speak.
Good afternoon, Council. My name's Steve Lutz. I'm a site coordinator for After School All-Stars. Behind me is Brittany Cyphers, a fellow site coordinator After School All-Stars. And to my left is Tracy Jadlos, executive director of After School All-Stars Cleveland. Free out-of-school time programs at the City Rec Centers are essential to the children and families they serve, as well as their communities. Youth programming promotes good study habits, social and emotional learning, and helps Cleveland's youth find new passions. I know this because I have the honor of running After School All-Stars, an out-of-school program at the Glenville Rec Center. For example, during this past summer session, I implemented an entrepreneurship and agriculture curriculum for the students in my program. This included the students selecting a farm animal or crop and prototyping a business around it. We got to go on field trips and visit local farms and gardens and ended in a culminating event where they pitched their prototypes to their community. In a post-survey, 100% of my participants stated they were more confident in themselves, increased prototyping skills, improved their ability to generate ideas, and resist failure. There are many reasons we can't afford not to invest in free out-of-school time programming. City Rec OST programs reduce the chance of our scholars getting bad grades, as well as keeping them safe and out of trouble. 3 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. That timeline is critical because this is when youth are at most at risk of engaging in unsafe behaviors and becoming involved in crime. Steady, long-lasting, and consistent OST programming is essential for our youth to flourish for years to come. OST programs that are offered throughout city Cleveland rec centers often offer more than just recreational activities. They teach teamwork, problem solving, leadership, and they teach our youth new skills. After School All-Stars Cleveland, along with all the other organizations that run OST programming in the city rec centers, are dedicated to ensuring that every child, regardless of circumstance, can grow, learn, and engage in productive activities. Council, I encourage you to keep OST programs thriving and accessible to everyone, regardless of income. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ellen Kubit from Ward 3, attempts to eliminate community gardens, not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone. Ellen, you have the floor.
Good evening, council and attendees. Myself and several other neighbors from old Ward 3, new Ward 7, not getting used to that, are here because it appears that our community is on the brink of losing its 20-year-old community garden. 20 years ago, the neighbors of West 47th, one of whom is actually here with us this evening, started a community garden in a vacant lot, thanks to the help of a summer sprout community gardening program administered by the OSU Extension. We found out very recently that the city no longer has a contract with OSU's Extension Summer Sprouts community gardening program. It was a shock to them as well, at least what was relayed to us when we found out that we also weren't going to be able to renew our lease for this community garden. I can't emphasize enough how special this place is. Neighbors over the last 20 years have invested so much time, energy, and money. We have 18 gardeners. We have a brick patio built by the neighbors, a pergola, and now a community hearth where we bake bread with our neighbors. We host summer jam sessions where the families of the street get to learn how to play instruments. We host movie nights, family friendly, and then when the kids go to bed, maybe something scary. We host Halloween activities. We host winter activities. Community gardens are an example of actual public safety that works in our community. Thankfully, Councilman McCormick responded really quickly to our distress. He helped us navigate some of the confusion of this contract no longer existing. And unfortunately, because the Community Seeds program no longer exists, this land bank property is now developers attempting to develop on. Everyone in my community values affordable housing. Nobody is building affordable housing right now in our community. In fact, a house across the street from me just sold for close to $900,000. One around the corner is $1.1 million. These are not worth actually that much. But why people are paying that much is because of community gardens like this. Everybody who comes to the neighborhood, including Mayor Bibb, who was actually invited to speak to the community when running for office, he actually spent time in seeing firsthand just how special this community garden is. These are the things we should be investing in, and I really hope the administration can reconsider its contract with the OSU's Extension and the Summer Sprouts program. And I hope that we can think of more flexible arrangements for how neighbors who take care of a vacant lot for 20 years with no financial compensation have the flexibility to maintain this control and keep it out of somebody who's not interested in the heart and soul of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Lamel Logan. Lamel Logan is from Cleveland. The impact tutoring has had on his academic life. Reach Success, Inc. is who he's representing, and he is not being paid by anyone.
My name is Lamel Logan. My name is Lamel Logan, and can you help me?
Hello, I'm Lamel Logan's dad, Melvin Logan, and we represent Reach Success, along with the CEO, the programmer, and some tutors. And my son wrote what the program has done for him. So we would like to share that with you all to why we would like the program to continue.
And sir, I will allow it this time because I always show deference to young people on the floor, but it is only one person that's usually allowed, but I will allow it for this time, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, you go. Okay. I want you to read it. It's okay.
My experience with recess tutoring program has been good. I have been able to improve my test scores in math and reading. Learning new skills has also helped me break down fractions to solve. In reading, I've been learned to pull out the operations that have been used. I've been also developed a larger vocabulary. This program helps kids be better by teaching them skills one-on-one that is needed to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job, young man, great job. Next, we have Terry Wong. Terry Wong is from Ward 3. She's here to talk about the Police Commission. She is not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone. Ms. Wong, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak. My name is Terry Wong. I'm an immigrant, a former community police commissioner, and Cleveland neighbor. I'm here because oversight of our police is a shared duty, one built through accompaniment, walking with the community, not ignoring its needs. Charter 115.5 promises a commission reflecting all of us, immigrants, refugees, survivors of injustice, and even police officers. Yet the city has repeatedly broken that promise. In 2021, Kate Kennedy, a mayoral nominee lacking legal qualifications, was appointed as a stand-in civil rights attorney. She missed meetings without consequence, shielded from removal by Mayor Bibb. Commissioner James Chura, a police union representative, served 18 months despite a disciplinary history that should have disqualified him. These aren't oversights, they're betrayals of Cleveland voters. Now in 2024, the cycle repeats. The mayor and city council advanced 3 police association nominees without scrutiny. Quentin Jordan, who was convicted of misusing law enforcement databases, Richard Jackson, who has prior disciplinary history, and Sheila Mason, who was appointed without transparent vetting. Meanwhile, the only 2 Asian American applicants to the commission, myself and Advocate Liu, both with ties to immigrant, refugee, limited English-speaking communities, as well as victims of police brutality, were denied interviews. The application process ignored not only our perspectives, but also the work we had already completed for the commission. How can a commission meant to protect all exclude so much and so many? Cleveland taxpayers also recently paid $9,000 for a retreat meant for new commissioners before council even approved the mayor's nominees. 2 nominees were later rejected. Who will repay this bill? Thank you to council members Palenzik and Casey for voting against reappointing Chandra Benito and Sharina Zayed. To the others on council, why do you continue to ignore warnings from the community about these existing commissioners and nominees? Soon, I will send a taxpayer demand letter to Law Director Mark Griffin with 3 demands. Halt these appointments and remove all charter violators. Redo the selection process, ensuring all commissioners are appointed for their skills. Open the books and the records to demonstrate your accountability to taxpayers. If the city fails to act, litigation will burden the very taxpayers this commission should protect. In one recent year, the city paid about $40 million in lawsuits related to police misconduct. Isn't there a better path, building justice with the community rather than fighting amongst yourselves for power? Certainly, I think there is more nobility in serving others than serving yourselves. Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Marcia Nolan. Marcia Nolan is from Ward 3 and wants to talk about attempts to eliminate community gardens, not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone. Ms. Nolan.
Good evening. I'm Marcia Nolan. I live at 1830. I'm sorry, I get nervous. Jenny knows. I live at 1836 West 47th Street, and I've lived there for 25 years. Ellen Kubit did a great job telling you what our garden has become. But I wanted to tell you what it was. 20 years ago, I and 5 women developed 2 strategies to deal with arson, prostitution, drug dealing, break-ins, 11 vacant houses, and 10 vacant lots on West 47th Street between Bridge and Franklin. Our strategy centered around forming a block club. We formed the block club, and our idea was to make people feel safe and to know that there was a group of people that were going to actively work for them to deal with all of these issues. The second strategy was to create a community garden. And what we did, even before the city had its lease community garden program, we took a vacant, trash-strewn, overgrown, tax-delinquent lot, we cleaned it up, and that was the beginning of our community garden. Even in those days, we were doing crafts for kids, we were doing potlucks, we were doing everything to bring the community together. Now we're told that our heart, the center of our neighborhood, is going to be redeveloped. We don't need another $800,000 house. We need that community garden so children have a place to go because it's their secret garden. And Ellen outlined all of the activities that are there. I don't know if you mentioned the 2 weddings. We've had 2 weddings in our garden. So anyway, please don't turn our garden into another development site. We really need the garden to bring the community together. I also want to give kudos to Councilman Zone, Councilman Simperman, and Carrie McCormick, and also the police of the 2nd District. I can't tell you how many times they met with us, did special patrols, did whatever they could to work with us to ensure that we wouldn't leave and that crime was reduced in the area. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Melvin Logan. Melvin Logan is from Cleveland to talk about the impact tutoring has had on his son. Melvin is from Reach Success, Inc., and Melvin is not being paid by anyone.
Hello, everyone. I'll be quick and brief, but we all are sitting here, well, you all are, through your education that's what got you in these seats, and it started from somewhere. It started with that one parent, that aunt, that cousin, that whoever had time. Reach Success has time. Upon the time they have for my son, allow my son to progress in more ways than one. I'm here to just say 1 or 2 things. Please keep the Reach Success program going for any and all parents that do not have the support at home and the ones who do need the support. My son benefit along with his friends, and it's a great deal to have him come tell me what he's learned and excited about it, not like it's a punishment. So I just ask once again, through the Reach Success program, my son has excelled a great deal. So now he's on the 7th grade math level and only in the 5th grade, and just now hit the academic level of a 5th grade reader, which is a struggle for young black boys in America. So I'm proud of him, I'm proud of the program, and once again, please keep the program going. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Eric Bolifield, and Eric is from Ward 4. He's here to talk about attempts to eliminate community gardens, and he's not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak. As you heard from these other 2 women, our garden is under threat. If my wife could be here today, you'd be hearing from 3 women. She and I live next to the community garden. She has been the garden leader since 2018. So in the previous Summer Sprout program, that program required all garden leads, and there are 144 in the city, to fill out a hydrant permit for the watering, to submit a lease every year, and also to take a 9-week course with OSU. Now, all that has been scrapped. So this leaves us, as you heard, with a developer that is pursuing development of this parcel. Now, I can't overstate the importance of this community for our whole street here. It's our public square, if you will. And it's a place to collaborate, share ideas, make art, socialize. The list goes on and on. It's cherished by everyone who lives there. It's a large part of why I know all of these wonderful people, and we're all friends and enjoy where we live and are proud to be there. So to combat this, because we're given no other option, Ashley and I have submitted an application for a side yard expansion to acquire that parcel. Right now, all we are operating on is promises that it won't be sold to a developer, but we don't have anything in writing. So we've all seen instances where things have been decided in a meeting only for the public to find out later, and it's too late to do anything about it, and we're worried that this may happen in this instance. We really need a solution to this that we can all be confident in and protect what is so dear to all of us. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Linda Marie Howard from Mount Pleasant to talk about housing shelter for women and children. And she's representing Young Mothers of Cleveland, and she's not being paid by anyone. Linda Marie Howard, you have the floor.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. Appreciate it. Linda Howard, Young Mothers of Cleveland. I stand here with just lived experience, y'all. I don't want to go off of stats or nothing. I just want to just go off the cuff and go off my heart. So no disrespect to nobody in the room. But once again, Ms. Linda is here to represent myself. I am the founder of Young Mothers of Cleveland. And my biggest thing, yes, ma'am, my biggest thing that I want to fuss and put boots to the ground about from here on out is nothing about housing, just all about housing. We could sit down and we could talk about programs. We could sit down, we could talk about different services, but we don't sit down and really talk about housing. We can pass out eating, we can pass out Section 8 all day. I live it. I have scanned the city. It's no shelter. It's nowhere for them to go. Everybody want to make a house make an office with a house. I need somewhere to be able to place these women. Ms. Linda is not funded by nobody. I'm a regular manager for Wendy's, and I'm a dispatcher for alarm service. I thank God, and I respect Ms. Deborah Gray, and I thank you for who you are. We came a long way. Mount Pleasant is very active, but it's raggedy. It needs some TLC. I put my kids' pantry inside the rec center so we could be able to keep it open because it was the only thing that was in Mount Pleasant that they had. I respect Richard Starr too. I'm a Ward 5 baby and I'm a Ward 4 adult. Mount Pleasant been my stepping grounds in my grown life. I watched them tear down my projects where I had my baby at 13. Everybody know me. I was the only kid walking through the projects with a baby. And now that I got grown and I see that people don't have the same stability that I had when I had my parents, and I give that love back. They shop at the kids' pantry for free. They come to me and say, Miss L, I got this voucher. I got landlords that don't even want to take it because they know that Section 8 is sorely kind of a game for real. So where do that leave them? I'll call every shelter in the world. I have a boarding house. My councilwoman have been there. She have been in my neighborhood. She see me. She has seen me work, she has seen me grow. All I ask is when we sit around the table and have conversations, can we talk about real housing? And not the outside people coming in. I'm not mad at nobody coming in to buy anything up. But can we think about what we're gonna do for these people that we putting out on the streets and we tearing down all of what they know? That's all I ask of. Can we figure out how to make a bigger shelter, make it a little bit more livable? I don't know, go make another building like 9511 Buckeye so we could be able to have somewhere for them to go when they want to just pass out vouchers. We have nowhere to live, they have nowhere to go, so we talk about menaces and we talk about jails. I'm not opposed to it because people have to have somewhere to go when they do something bad. But at the end of the day, what they gonna do? If they have nowhere to live, they have nowhere to go, they have nowhere to sleep, we don't have nowhere to go and buy groceries and eat, what do? I'm bored, I'm gonna go tear the city up, and that's what it is. So I thank everybody for all the hard work that y'all do in the city of Cleveland, and I thank you. Just think about us.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please move to communications.
File number 213, 2025, oath of office for Lisa Goods, member of Cleveland Commission of Black Women and Girls. File number 214, 2025, oath of office for Jared M. Schlacht, Deputy Chief of Police, Division of Police, Department of Public Safety. File number 215, 2025, oath of office for Toy Porch, Interim Commissioner of Division of Urban Forestry, Department of Parks and Recreation. File number 216, 2025, from John Analifo, Executive Director, Famicos Foundation. Notice of intent to apply to Ohio Housing Finance Agency for multifamily funding programs for the development known as Park Village, located at the approximate address of 9221 Huff Avenue, Ward 7. From the Ohio Division of Liquor Control, file number 211, 2025, regarding a new license application at 4915 Memphis Avenue, Ward 13. File number 212, 2025, regarding a new license application at 3879 East 123rd Street, Ward 2. File number 249, 2025, regarding a new license application at 14651 Lorraine Avenue, Ward 17.
Condolence resolutions.
Resolutions of condolence by Councilmember House Jones for Pastor B.W. Bennett, by Councilmember Bishop for James Jefferson, by Councilmember Conwell for Gail Elizabeth Gibson Gray, by Councilmember Griffin for Larry Dolan.
Are there any other condolence resolutions? Councilman Charles Slight.
Yes, please hold out a number from me, Councilman Casey, and Councilman McCormick for Timothy James Costello.
So noted.
Please hold out a number for Roberta Flack. Are there any other Councilwoman Stephanie House Jones?
Yes, please hold out a number for Lavinia Rogers, and I'll get the spelling and all of the things.
So noted.
Are there any other condolence resolutions? Seeing no other condolence resolutions, council members, please rise for a moment of silence. Thank you. Are there any congratulatory resolutions? I believe Councilman Mike Polensek had one.
Resolutions of congratulations by Councilmember Starr for Central Kitchen, by Councilmember Polensek for Doug Patterson, by Councilmember Starr for St. Teresa Holiness Science Church on their 75th anniversary. Resolutions of recognition by Councilmember Polensek for Lithuanian Independence Day, by Councilmember Gray for Alonzo Wright, by Councilmember Starr for Sunday School Love Sustainability Greens in the Ghetto Earth Day celebration, by Councilmember Gray for Zelma George on the 2nd Annual Black History Legacy Dinner, by Councilmember Gray for Mount Pleasant Neighborhood, by Councilmember Gray for Brenda Pickett Watson, by Councilmember Gray for Ludlow Community Association, by Councilmember Gray for William H. Gilbert & Gilbert Construction Company. Resolutions of appreciation by Councilmember Bishop for Lisa M. Sticken, by Councilmember Bishop for Pastor Cecil Gamble Jr., by Councilmember Bishop for Carolyn L. Varner, by Councilmember Bishop for Donna Walker Brown, by Councilmember Bishop for Fred Moore, by Councilmember Bishop for First Ladies Dynasty Organization, by Councilmember Bishop for Minister Johnny Johnson.
Thank you. Before I go to presentations, I do have one more condolence recognition for Donovan Matthews, the grandson of Pastor C.J. Matthews. I'll get the information for you. Donovan Matthews. All right. Councilman Michael Polensek.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, would the clerk please hold out a number congratulatory for Anthony and Joe Russo? And I'd like you to be on that, Mr. President.
Myself and Councilman Polensek, thank you. All right, I believe that's the end of congratulatory resolutions. We'll move to presentations, and I would ask if the council members can open up the well. Councilman Chris Harsh and Councilwoman Jenny Spencer would like to join up front. And will Mike McDonald and his family please join us right here to my right. Your show.
Okay, all right.
Anybody can join around us. I know we have a lot of
please
people.
turn around.
We have room up here. Please come up here. Anybody want to come up here? They can come up here.
Okay, this is great.
Anybody else would like to come? We can have this platform in here.
All right, I think we're ready to start. So, Michael, we are going to be addressing you, and it's time to shower some appreciation on you tonight. Michael McDonald is retiring from the City of Cleveland Community Relations Board, and those of us who have worked with Michael understand deeply what an impact that you have made. Michael, you are the epitome of a public servant, and I still remember the day that I first met you when I worked at Detroit Shoreway Community Development Organization, and you walked into my office and said something along the lines of, "Let's work together, what can I do to help?" I mean, it was a lot more eloquent than that, but that's how you are every time we run into you, right? This is always the spirit you project. And that from that very first moment, it was evident your earnest desire to make our communities more equitable, more just, and more peaceful. And it came from your heart, and it just shines out of you, and it's so evident. So another thing I want to just add is I have never left a conversation with you not feeling more energized, more motivated, more optimistic, and just better off. That's how it feels to talk to you. So it's not only the work you've done in our communities, it's how you make us feel, and it's the optimism you project about how we can all be better together. So I know that a few of us want to say a few more words about you. We have council members surrounding us who represent the communities in the 2nd District, where you serve in the Community Relations Board, and we're going to be presenting you this resolution of congratulations as well. So I'll pass it off to Councilman Harsh.
So I will be brief, folks. It's hard to say nice things about Michael McDonald that haven't already been said. He is that rare one of a kind that you wish you had 1,000 of. We think that being one of a kind makes you special. We would like to replicate you if we could, and put 1,000 of you in every neighborhood. It's a pure heart that cares about the neighborhood. It's a good heart that cares about our community and cares about other people. And that has, ever since I've known you, I've seen that shines in your eyes. You care about people and you care about neighborhood, and we need that so much in this world. I don't know how people live in silos. I couldn't do it, and frankly, people suffer when they do. And you're one of those folks that knocks on the door and says, "Hey, let's talk. Let's have a conversation about what's bothering you." And that goes so far in this world where people tend to sometimes be a little bit reclusive. And for the number of people that you've shown up at their house, you've helped them through a problem, I want to thank you on their behalf, because they're not here tonight, but it is in the thousands. And I will leave it at that. I know that Michael will keep on trucking. He's not going to stop. I know you've got another chapter in your life waiting for you, and I think some beautiful grandchildren that you're going to be able to spend some of that time with. So I will lastly say that your retirement doesn't mean that I can't come over to your house and play your guitars anymore, because you have a much better guitar collection than I do, and I enjoyed that, and I want to do it again. So I hope that I will be showing up on your doorstep one of these days saying, "Let's talk about that Gibson 12-string," and that'll be our next chapter. I'd like to, Councilman McCormick.
All right, good evening. So also met Michael when I was working for Ohio City Incorporated back in the CDC days as well. And not only would I reflect the fact that you have always approached this job with a positive attitude, which for folks in the crowd that might not know, the Community Relations Department, you get to do some fun stuff, but you have to deal with very real issues in the community, the really tough grassroots issues between neighbors, between businesses, all sorts of things. So the fact that you still show up every single day to work, literally, I think Friday is your last day, to the last day with a positive attitude and a smile on your face, shows how much you love serving the citizens of Cleveland, but more so about your character. And I'll just say one of the things that I so appreciate beyond all of the work in your portfolio is the times that we dispatched you to neighbor disputes. And truly, for folks that are not familiar with this, we would have issues with neighbors that were impassable, that they could not get over. We tried, and Michael would enter the situation and engage those neighbors and work towards a peaceful resolution of those issues. And so, as you noted before, thousands of those over the years, but just the fact that how much peace you brought to communities and neighbors that were in real dispute. And if you live next to somebody you got a problem with, you live next to them. You can't just walk away and go somewhere else. So you made such an impact on our neighborhoods through so much of that work, and thank you so much for taking our calls and our requests to navigate really sticky situations. So we appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Michael. And Michael, a lot of people around here know you through community relations, but what they don't know is all the work that you did before you got to the city. So let me go back just a little further than that. So the old Pepe's Pizza, with Jay. Old Pepe's Pizza on 98th and Denison used to be an office that Jay Westbrook had when he was a council person with Safe 18. So you have been doing all this wonderful stuff with the city, but I know you as the Safe 18 guy, where you were doing everything that everybody has been saying that you were doing, but long before you were with the city. So on behalf of the rest of Cleveland City Council, we know that you were great with the Community Relations Board, but we also know that your heart's been doing it for much longer than just the city has known. 32 years, you've been doing exactly what you were doing, but I just wanted to bring up Safe 18 because you were doing it long before you actually got to Community Relations Board. So congratulations.
I was not going to say anything because I just wanted to let my colleagues recognize Mike's years of service, but I had to come and take a little bit of credit for this guy because Mike, when you look up community organizer in the book, person who really cares about working with neighbors and neighborhoods every day, Mike is the epitome of that. And he's so good at that as I seen his work, and his tag team partner used to be Birgit, and I used to see all this great work that they were doing out there. So when I had an opportunity to hire somebody in the Community Relations Board when I was the former director, I said, I'm getting Mike McDonald. And Mike McDonald was not a disappointment. It was probably one of the best decisions I made in City Hall. You might read the newspaper. I don't get praise for all my decisions. But at the end of the day, I got to come here and take credit for this one right here because this was the best decision. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Hold it. I heard Casey talk about Mike. Let me tell you this. Mike is a musician, man. He's in the musician club. He plays the guitar. Isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
You better know, boy. So he walks it like he talking. That's why he walking like he talking, or you lose that beat. So when he retire, he's not going to retire from the music world. You'll be home playing your guitar. That's why I had to get up and say something, man.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
Congratulations.
Go ahead.
I gave my speech at the Saxenheim Hall, and that's all that matters.
Well, I want to set the record straight because Council President, then Community Relations Director Blaine Griffin, lured Michael McDonald out of my ward. And it's been a great story ever since. So, when too often you hear of people that get elevated up and then all of a sudden they're over their skill level. Well, Michael cut his teeth out in the community, knows what it is, as people have said, to do public service and community service, and he does it from his heart. Every day, Director Angela, Woodson, you've given Michael that opportunity to continue on with the vision that Director Griffin saw in Michael, and that's really what the city is all about. And it is the case, drummer man, Kevin Conwell, that, we talk about, and you look up there, you'll see on the inscription where it talks about living in harmony. And Michael practices harmony on the stage with his guitar and in the community. And it's so important that you've brought those skills with you to the city, and that people have acknowledged it. And so you've been a teacher for others also. So there you go.
Let's take a picture.
There's another part of Michael, which is his wonderful family and his wife Lynn. And even though, Mr. President, I had the opportunity to work with Michael at a community service level, Lynn and Michael both came to Cleveland to do community organizing. Yeah. So they came to help bolster Ohio Citizen Action, and Michael did a lot of service there, knocked on doors, took the message out to the communities. Lynn balanced the books and pulled rabbits out of the hat, and held off some bill collectors for a while. And but they've both given. They've given tremendously to this community, and too often we think of those with big checks or people that drive large cars or take long vacations as the people who contribute, but it's really the worker bees, the doer folks that get it done, and Lynn and Michael are two of the very best.
So let's take a moment to talk about Miss Lynn Shearhorn. Please. Because she is also retiring after the end of a very distinguished career, and we want to recognize her tonight as well. We've talked a little bit about community organizing, but I was given an opportunity to succeed in life because somebody let me be a community organizer. Because one thing I ended up excelling at in life that I did not know was talking to people face to face. And for how many years have you been with?
Well, CA for about 40 years.
For 40 years, this woman has helped young people build a career talking to people about issues that matter in the community. And in a world where we are now cyber, where people want to tweet and they want to post on Facebook, human interaction, face-to-face conversations is still the best way to have a conversation with someone. It's still the best way to convey information, to build community, and to win campaigns to help Ohio ratepayers, to help the environment. And for 40 years, Citizen Action has been giving young people the opportunity to do this because of the work that you've done. And we do not want to overlook you. We want to recognize you as well for your incredible contributions. So, Ms. Lynn Shearhorn, please accept this on behalf of City Council. Michael, if you would like to take yours, we'd love to get some pictures with you guys. And thank you for everything that you both have done. Thank you.
Let me get in the back.
A couple words. Yeah, Michael.
Welcome to say a
Go
word.
ahead. And then, Lynn?
I'm really, I don't know what to say. I'm humble. I'm very humbled. I've worked with a lot of these people for a very long time, 4 decades. It's nothing to be sneezed at. Danny Kelly, before he came to council, did some work with him. It's just, the community work really is it. And as Chris just said, it's that face-to-face conversation that gets things done, not the yelling on the internet. And a line from a song keeps going through my head, Townes Van Zandt song, "Everything is not enough, nothing is too much to bear," has been going through my head for months now when I think of coming to this moment. And to me, what it means is, everything that we can do to help folks is never going to be enough. We have to keep doing it. But if we don't do nothing, that's way too much to bear. And we should never let that happen. Thanks.
Well, I really appreciate this. It's an honor, and I'm surprised to have all these people here. My work is rewarding, that I can be part of bringing social change for the better to the communities, to all of Ohio. And that's something Michael and I bonded over. He was my boss once. And I'm just thankful that I've been able to carry that through into a career following my heart and the passion that I have. So thank you very much.
Yep. Yep.
Come on now. Stand. Move it back here.
All right. Madam Clerk, please proceed with first reading. Emergency ordinances referred for administrative review and committee review.
Ordinance 217, 2025, by Councilmember Griffin, authorizing the Clerk of Council to enter into an agreement with St. Martin de Porres High School to participate as a sponsor of students for work-study positions with Cleveland City Council. Ordinance 227, 2025, by Councilmember Griffin, authorizing the Clerk of Council to enter into an amendment to an agreement with JS Strategies for the professional services necessary to continue the audit, review the assessment of Cleveland City Council's communications programs. Ordinance 228, 2025, by Councilmembers Polensek and Griffin, by departmental request, excuse me, to amend sections 630.01 and 02 of the codified ordinances as amended relating to criminal activity nuisances declared an action to abate nuisances and cost of enforcement. Ordinance 229, 2025, by Councilmembers McCormack and Griffin by departmental request to amend the title in Section 1 of Ordinance 1052, 2024 to change the name of Prospect International Airport Services Corporation to Prospect International Airport Services. Ordinance 230, 2025, by Councilmembers Casey and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Utilities to exercise a first option to renew a contract with Johnson Controls Fire Protection LP for inspection, testing, and service of proprietary fire protections, life safety systems, and replacement parts for the various divisions of the Department of Public Utilities. Ordinance 231, 2025, by Councilmembers Starr, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing Director of Community Development to transfer several permanent parcels located in the vicinity of East 75th Street and Grand Avenue to the control, possession, and use of the Department of Economic Development for inclusion into a consolidated site to be used for future redevelopment. Ordinance 232, 2025, by Councilmembers Bishop and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Works to enter into one or more agreements with the State of Ohio Department of Transportation to provide services necessary for general routine maintenance and repair of a portion of State Route I-76 for a period or periods not to exceed a total of 2 years. Ordinance 233, 2025, by Councilmembers Bishop and Griffin by departmental request, determining the method of making the public improvement for the grinding of pavement for the local resurfacing of city streets, and authorizing Director of Public Works to enter into one or more public improvement requirement contracts for the making of the improvement for a period up to 1 year with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Public Works. Ordinance 234, 2025, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Port Control to employ one or more professional consultants to provide technical support and maintenance of core information technology activities and other related services to acquire software for the Department of Port Control for a period of 1 year with 4 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Port Control. Ordinance 235, 2025, by Council Members Bishop and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the purchase by one or more requirement contracts of rock salt for the Division of Streets, Department of Public Works for a period of 1 year. Ordinance 237, 2025, by Council Members Conwell and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Health to enter into an amendment to a contract with the Ohio Public Health Association to provide additional temporary staffing and to change the term of the contract. Ordinance 238, 2025, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, to amend Section 2 of Ordinance 402, 2022, relating to general planning, engineering, and design services to add additional funding source. Ordinance 239, 2025, by Council Members Bishop and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Works to enter into one or more contracts with Faster Asset Solutions for the acquisition of a database management system, including software licenses, system support, annual maintenance, and the services necessary to migrate to a web-based system for the Division of Motor Vehicle Maintenance, Department of Public Works, for a period of 2 years. Ordinance 240, 2025, by Council Members McCormack and Griffin by departmental request, to repeal Ordinance 828, 2024, relating to a purchase of up to 13 passenger boarding bridges at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, and determining the method of making the public improvement of purchasing, installing, disposing, designing, and constructing of up to 13 passenger boarding bridges and appurtenances, and authorizing the Director of Port Control to enter into one or more public improvement contracts for the making of the improvement. Ordinance 242, 2025, by Council Members McCormack, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, approving the addition of certain property located at 2164-2214 West 25th Street to the Northeast Ohio Advanced Energy District, accepting and approving a petition and plan from the property owner in the district identifying a special energy improvement project, declaring it necessary to conduct the special energy improvement project, providing for the assessment of the cost of such special energy improvement project, authorizing the Director of Economic Development to enter into a cooperative agreement and a special assessment agreement to implement the project, and declaring an emergency. Ordinance 243, 2025, by Council Members Bishop and Griffin by departmental request, to amend Section 133.31 of the codified ordinances as enacted by Ordinance 521, 2024, relating to Highland Park Golf Course and banquet room rates. Ordinance 244, 2025, by Council Members Bishop and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Finance to enter into an amendment to a contract with Murtis Taylor Human Services System to provide social support services. Ordinance 245, 2025, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, to amend Section 2 of Ordinance 75, 2024, relating to professional services of providing emergency medical billing services, coding, reimbursement, and compliance services. Ordinance 246, 2025, by Council Members Jones, Bishop, Hairston, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Directors of Parks and Rec and Community Development to enter into a property exchange agreement with the Board of Education of Cleveland Municipal School District for the transfer of various properties between the parties to facilitate the efficient use of real estate for public purposes, including construction of the new JFK High School Athletic Stadium at property near the new JFK High School and city-owned JFK Recreation Center, authorizing the Mayor and Commissioner of Purchases and Supplies to acquire and convey the properties, and authorizing one or more agreements between Cleveland Municipal School District and Director of Parks and Recreation relating to the construction and shared use of the new stadium for a term of 15 years and renewing automatically from year to year thereafter until terminated by either party. Ordinance 250, 2025, by Councilmember Griffin, to exempt certain property parcels from strong market area tax abatement policies under Ordinance 482, 2022, relating to establishing the entire city of Cleveland as a community reinvestment area. Ordinance 251, 2025, by Councilmembers McCormack, Bishop, and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing Director of the Mayor's Office of Capital Projects to sell city-owned air rights interest no longer needed for the city's public use located at the right-of-way of Scranton Road, aka Eagle Avenue, to GPP Medical Facility, LLC, for the purpose of constructing a building, and enter into an agreement for the construction, operation, maintenance, inspection, and repair of the overhead structure within the air rights parcel above the Scranton Road right-of-way.
Thank you. First reading emergency ordinances to be passed.
Ordinance 218, 2025, by Councilmember House Jones, to amend Section 1 of Ordinance 117, 2025, relating to a First Amendment agreement with Famicos Foundation for Cleveland City Council. Ordinance 219, 2025, by Councilmember Hairston, to amend Section 1 of Ordinance 118, 2025, relating to a First Amendment agreement with Famicos Foundation for Cleveland City Council. Ordinance 220, 2025, by Councilmember McCormack, to supplement the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, by amending Section 123.05 as amended, relating to the mayor's report and the mayor's estimate. Ordinance 221, 2025, by Councilmember Griffin, authorizing the Clerk of Council to enter into an agreement with NetX Internet, LLC, to provide wireless internet service to Cleveland City Council. Ordinance 222, 2025, by Councilmember Conwell, consenting and approving the issuance of a permit for the Amazing AKA 5 Run on September 28, 2025, managed by Hermes Sports and Events. Ordinance 223, 2025, by Councilmember Slife, consenting and approving the issuance of a permit for the St. Mark Run for the Arts 5K and 1M on May 31st, 2025, managed by Peace Racing. Ordinance 247, 2025, by Councilmember Hairston, to amend Section 3 of Ordinance 124, 2025, relating to the agreement with Famicos Foundation for the Collinwood Senior Health and Wellness Walkers Club.
Thank you. Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Kelly, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage. Seconded by Councilmember Bishop.
Call the roll. Oh, Ms.
Yes.
House Jones.
Yeah, on ordinance 218-2025, can you change in the ordinance? It should be Ward 7 casino fines and not Ward 10.
So noted.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensik, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 17 yeas.
Thank you. Call the roll on passage.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensik, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 17 yeas.
Thank you. First reading emergency resolutions referred for administrative review and committee review.
Resolution 236, 2025, by Council Members Griffin and Polensek, declaring April 2025 Child Abuse Prevention Month. Resolution 252, 2025, by Councilmember Starr, strongly opposing Senate Bill 1 and urging the Ohio House of Representatives to defeat this bill that would prohibit diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts at Ohio's public universities of higher education.
Thank you. First reading emergency resolutions to be adopted. What's that? Oh, House Jones was going.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Chair, President. Please have me as a sponsor to 236, 2025 and 252-2025.
You got it? All right. First reading emergency resolutions to be adopted.
Resolution 224, 2025, by Councilmember Conwell, objecting to the transfer of ownership of a C1 liquor permit to 540 East 105th Street. Resolution 225, 2025, by Councilmember Casey, objecting to the transfer of ownership of a C2, C2X, and D6 liquor permit to 4282 West 130th Street. Resolution 226, 2025, by Councilmember Starr, withdrawing objection to the transfer of ownership of a C1, C2, and D6 liquor permit to 7515 Kinsman Road and repealing Resolution 1026, 2024, objecting to said permit. Resolution 241, 2025, by Councilmember Griffin, declaring support for the preservation of the federal tax exemption of municipal bonds. Resolution 248, 2025, by Councilmember Griffin, appointing one member between the ages of 18 and 30 to the Civilian Police Review Board. Resolution 253, 2025, by Councilmember Bishop, objecting to a new C2 liquor permit at 3879 East 123rd Street.
Thank you. Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Kelly, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage. Seconded by Councilmember Bishop.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 17 yeas.
Thank you. Call the roll on adoption.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 17 yeas.
Thank you. Second reading emergency ordinances to be passed.
Ordinance 44, 2025, by Council Members Bishop and Hairston by departmental request. Upon vacation of Old West Boulevard to revoke the existing encroachment permit to the Tamir Rice Foundation for the Tamir Rice Memorial, authorizing the mayor and the Commissioner of Purchases and Supplies to execute a deed of easement over the revoked encroachment permit property, granting to Tamir Rice Foundation certain easement rights to improve and maintain the Tamir Rice Memorial, granting easements to utility providers for any existing facility through or under the right-of-way of vacated Old West Boulevard, and declaring that the easement rights granted are not needed for the city's public use.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Kelly, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage. Seconded by Councilmember Bishop.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 17 yeas.
Call the roll on passage.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 17 yeas.
Thank you. Second reading ordinances to be passed.
Ordinance 1203, 2024, by Councilmember Conwell, changing the use, area, and height districts of parcels of land east of East 105th Street between Churchill Avenue and Orville Avenue.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Kelly, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage. Seconded by Councilmember Bishop.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House Jones, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Palencic, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 17 yeas.
Call the roll on passage.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Palencic, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 17 yeas.
Thank you. We'll move to introductions. Do we have any introductions? Any introductions? I do not see any introductions. We'll now move to announcements. Any announcements? Are there any announcements? Seeing no announcements, we'll move to miscellaneous. Do we have any miscellaneous? Councilman Kevin Conwell.
I'm real quick, Mr. President. I need some help. When we start with community development and block grant hearings, as you know, last year, excuse me, Michael, that sickle cell anemia was cut. And you got Black history going on here right now. And we need the funding and the money for dealing with sickle cell anemia. So I took out money and you helped me, and I got the other council members to help me so that we can put sickle cell anemia dollars back in and funding to help this out. Sickle cell anemia not only affects African Americans, it also affects people in the Mediterranean area. The Spanish community, the Puerto Rican community, the Italian community, right, Michael? So we need to put that money back in to community development. I put it in last year, the lion's share. I will do it again, but I need help. And I reached out and talked with you, Hernandez. I mean, it's not funny, it's the real deal. It's the real deal. We need help. And so this is African American History Month. Let's make some Black history and put that money in so we can help people. Thank you very, very much. And I need help, Mr. President, from you as well as Chairman Anthony Hairston.
Thank you, Councilman Conwell. Do we have any other miscellaneous? Seeing no, Councilman Kerry McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Number one, thank you for your leadership over this period of time with budget. We will, I think we maybe 1 or 2 days, maybe one if we behave and can get through it tomorrow. But I wanted to thank you in advance for your leadership and all the chairs that have been a part of that as well. Just quickly, Mr. Chairman, I also I normally don't respond to public comment, but I had some residents show up tonight. And so I just wanted to quickly say I want to thank Director Hernandez, who I know went out and spoke with those residents after those comments. Mr. Chairman, Marcia Nolan, I think she's gone. But she is one of those real deal residents that has been on that street for decades, and truly is the reason, she didn't say this, but she and a couple other people cleaned up that street over many, many years. And she's been a block club leader. She's been a community activist. Mr. Chairman, they do a holiday party every year where they bring children onto the street. They close the street down. It's called Miracle on 47th Street. And that garden is so important to that street. So again, I want to thank Director Hernandez. I also ran over and chatted with the Chief Epstein as well. Fully supportive of that garden. It's a really important component of 47th, and I want to thank those residents who came out tonight. I always say, Mr. President, even in this sense, I agree, but even in disagreement on issues, I'll take an active resident over apathy all day. So I just want to give them a shout out for coming out tonight, speaking their mind, and I feel good that we'll be able to renew that garden. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, seeing no other miscellaneous, Madam Clerk, we did announcements. Yes, we did. Yes. I run a very efficient meeting, Councilwoman House Jones. Please go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I was listening. I thought it was. Okay, so 3 quick announcements. So yes, we are at the end of Black History Month, and I know the Black History programming here at City Hall has been really, really good. So thank the team, Community Relations Board team. I know there's a vendor fair tomorrow, so Clevelanders should come and participate. On Thursday, the Cleveland Commission on Black Women and Girls will be having our monthly meeting here at City Hall at 9 a.m. So all are welcome to attend. And then on Saturday, actually, the parade and festival season is starting. The 13th annual Cleveland Cartavania Festival is starting. It's starting on Saturday, March 1st. And so this past Saturday, I had the pleasure of going to the current jump. I was so cold, but I enjoyed myself, where we wanted to wish winter away. Isn't that right, Dean? That's how it is. Okay. So just wanted to share that with Cleveland as we have just a multitude of cultures here in our city. It's a lot of exciting events where we can come, learn more, and just breathe together. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. This time, I think we are done. Madam Clerk, please excuse the absences.
Oh, there are none.
There are no absences excused. Council is adjourned to the next regular meeting on March 3rd, 2025.